settings. So we talked about this similarly earlier with the quotes, and Dave made a comment that maybe in a future release a setting will come out, but a new setting has been put in for inventory transactions. And now you can have when you go to an inventory item and you go to the transactions tab, it used to show transactions, I believe, Dave, for the current period that you're in.
Yeah.
And now you can set a date range so that you're looking at a wider swath versus just the current period.
And the issue on that, Jeremy, was always if you're behind in closing your period ends, which is not uncommon, right? Yeah. So we're in October, we still haven't run period end process for August. So that is the current inventory period. So what we would do is we would always display the current inventory period, which was 2 months ago. And then the user had to click on the binoculars to expand the transaction dates that they could see. August is 2 months ago. I want to see October. And so now this setting is really, and I'll show you what the options are, but it's giving us better visibility so that the user doesn't have to go in and click on those binoculars every time to see the transactions that they want to see.
And kind of in a similar mode, when you look at an item list, the option to eliminate inactive items from that ALE, which stands for Advanced Lookup Engine, is now a new option. So when you have an inventory that you're maintaining and keeping active and inactive items, they used to always show the inactives in the list, even though we're not selling them anymore. Now we can make that a permanent exclusion from that list.
Yeah, the way we used to handle that was you had to write like a filter, right? So you had to build a custom lookup and then set a filter to exclude the inactives. And so now this is actually in company maintenance. There's an option in company maintenance where you can exclude inactive customers, inactive vendors. They've added it to that same place, exclude inactive inventory items. So as you're inactivating items, they just no longer show up. You can still see them if you need to get back to them, but we're excluding them from the ALE primarily. So let me just show you real quick. I want to just show you where this default date range for the inventory transaction view appears. Minimize that. Okay. So we're going into inventory, inquiry, or item maintenance, either place. And what we're talking about is when we would look at inventory inquiry, we would go over to the transactions tab. And what we would see, and that's what you're seeing in this system, is you're seeing just the current period. So this system actually this is our demo system. It's actually in May of 2025. So, we're actually in October of 2025. What the user would do is click on these little binoculars right here, and then they could expand out the range of transaction dates. And now we're seeing transactions back into 2024. All the way through May of 2025. So this little button allowed you to get to what you wanted to see based on what current period you were in, but was a little extra work. What they've done now is in inventory management options, over on the additionals tab, we've got this setup option. So transaction date search, the default selection is, and here are your options. So we can look at the current calendar year. Now this is still using the calendar year that's the inventory module is in, right? It's not looking at the computer's date, but we can look at the current calendar year. So the entire year, 7 days or newer, 30 days or newer, 60 days or newer, all the way down to 365 days or newer. So these are nice options because those are actually looking at the computer date and filtering. So if you set it at 60 days, now it doesn't matter what period your inventory module is in. It's going to look at the computer date and it's going to filter based on what the current date is going back these number of days. So as an example, since my demo date is in 2025, none of these options are going to work for me all that well. But if I just set that to current calendar year, now when I go back into item inquiry and I pull up that item and go over to transactions, now I'm looking at the entire calendar year 2025, January, all the way down through May.